What is up? What is up, everybody? It is that time. It's Monday night. It's that time of the week where we talk photogenic figures and the stuff that went up for pre order that looks like it's going to be ultra rad for our action figure photography. So that always makes me happy. Plus, a couple things that I'm thinking could be a lot of fun for everybody that checks out the live stream and anybody that checks out all the Toypixx stuff. So, let's get to it. First off, if you're watching this on the replay, let me know what figures in the past week showed up that you think are going to look great under your lights and in front of your lens. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. Wait for a few more people to stop in before I get too crazy about what all's going on. Harry, got my $25 G.I. Joe classified Naga hide from Walmart. Dude, I had no idea that they were already getting sold for that little. Nicely done, man. That's insanity. 35 bucks? Huh. I'm good with that. If I thought I needed to grab that Naga hide, I would totally head to Walmart and pick him up for 35 bucks. That's an awesome price, especially considering he comes with a monkey with an eye patch. That's a win. That's a big time win in pretty much everybody's book. Now, before we really start going nuts, we have Mr. Spencer. Hola, sir. Thanks for stopping by. I want to go to something there's two things before we really start going nuts. There are two things I saw when I was going through and prepping for tonight that I thought, okay, those are just cool. And these are things that we never talk about. Like, I never talk about either of these two types of things. It's just I was going through stuff and I'm like, wow, okay, those are kind of sweet. And one of them I would never think I think was sweet because it's actually a statue. That doesn't mean I'm going to pick any of this up, but I saw it and I thought, some of this stuff's really cool. So we'll start with this. This is an Iron Studios Weapon X Wolverine statue. And I don't know what it was. I saw it and I just thought, this is actually really cool. And like I said, I never think that about statues. So I figured I'd basically make you guys look at it too. But he stands just over 7 inches. And check that out. He's got this head, and then he's got the Weapon X head. And I think the Weapon X head is what sold me on it. I mean, again, I'm not getting it, but that's what I thought was really cool about it. Like, he obviously just busted out of the tank. He's ready to throw. This picture cracked me up because at first, and I was wearing my glasses, at first I was going, wait, what's his head there? But turns out his head is actually his upper arm. And then they get really into the details. I don't have any statues. So I was checking this stuff out and I'm like, okay, this is all right. This is cool. I love how the claws pop out there. Love the face sculpts. That is what's up. And then when I saw this picture, I'm going, okay, I know I'm not a statue guy, and I'm sure a lot of you folks aren't either because you're watching this, but on the off chance you are and you want to pick them up, pretty much everything you see in the live stream tonight does have affiliate links in the description. So this is there. It's not something I'm picking up. I just thought it was really cool. Ooh, Harry, error on their part. Pre-ordered. Oh, I didn't know that. That's even better. Wreck ship, ahoy, sir. How be you doing? And then the only other thing, and this is only cool because of one aspect of it, and we'll get to that in the last picture. I mean, it's cool. Let's be honest. Legos are cool. But we've got the Dark Falcon, which I think is crazy that Disney allowed this to be made. So we'll go through and we'll look at some of the pics. I mean, it's cool. Everybody loves a black and red color scheme. At least I do. I think it always looks good. There you go. Got it all opened up, showing all the figures in there and the figures. So there's the lineup of figures. and then just showing a little bit of the interior, all that. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is what caught my attention. Now, I saw this a while back and just started laughing about it, but forgot about it kind of. And then I was going through, like I said, the websites tonight, trying to find out, or earlier today, trying to figure out what should go in this video. And I just started laughing all over again. We have Darth Jar Jar. And truly, I am surprised Disney allowed this to be made. But I'm good with it because it's hilarious. If they ever sold Darth Jar Jar on his own, I would probably pick him up. I find it funny. Hello, Tragic. Thanks for stopping by, dude. All right. Disney made the Acolyte. It only follows that they'd make a Dark Falcon with Darth Jar Jar. Yeah, the difference is Darth Jar Jar is actually a cool idea. Okay, I shouldn't say that. The Acolyte was a cool idea. It was way less so in execution, I felt. I don't know. But anyway, all right, now that we've got a few more people hanging out, Jahir. I'm definitely going to get the SH Figuarts Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, they are on the list. They are here. Anyway, I thought I had to bring this up because Darth Jar Jar, and for anybody that's not the big time Star Wars nerd that I am, it seems, there was a theory way back when that the actual Lord of the Sith would be Darth Jar Jar Binks. And truly, you look at this, and all I can really figure out here is Jar Jar Binks was the first character kind of post-internet that totally divided the fandom. He was the only character that ever made me think, maybe Star Wars isn't infallible because Jar Jar Binks. Yeah. He made it so I didn't like the first movie, and then the movie itself made it so I didn't like the second one. The third movie I thought was pretty good. I thought it was okay at least. Anyway, so yeah, the theory was Darth Jar Jar was the actual Lord of the Sith. He was above Palpatine. So that's why I find it absolutely hilarious that he's in here. Let's see, what was your reaction to RDJ being Doctor Doom? I don't know. I want to have a reaction, but I'm not very reactionary to those choices. I will probably have more of a reaction when I see whatever they do from a story perspective. Because with him being Iron Man, like the big Marvel hero, and then being the big Marvel villain, it just doesn't work in my head. So they got to figure out how to do that story-wise. And if they can do it, cool beans. Rick, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Rick Ship, stunt casting, pure and simple. And that's a lot of what I'm sure it is as well. All right, so I want to go now real quick. Let's get this out of here. Woo, it's me again. Hey, guys. I want to share, and believe me, I'm only sharing this for a specific reason. So I have two little announcements that I think could be cool, and there might be some sub-announcements in there as well. I'm going to start doing some photo contests. And so what's going to happen is people are going to be they're going to be able to be taking pictures. And when it comes to the Patreon side of things, they could win valuable prizes. Really, it's just going to be one of those very photogenic action figures that I like to talk about and all that good stuff. So there's going to be, I had the middle tier set as $8 on the Patreon for that. I'm going to drop it down to $5 so that more people have the opportunity to play. There's going to be some voting so that it's not like, in my state where I'm at, I can't just spin a wheel and choose a winner. So because that's gambling, that's not exactly the way that everything's worded. It just makes it close enough where I'm like, you know what? We got to go based on a voting system here. So beginning in September, simply because I have to work out all the logistics this month, we're going to start having photo contests. Some of them are going to be on Patreon, or one of them is going to be on Patreon, which would be the better bet. Because right now there's nobody at the $5 tier. So if you just right now took a picture of your figures on your desk and submitted it, you'd have no choice but to win because you'd be the only one. So there's that. And then there's also going to be a YouTube contest as well that won't cost anything to play, but you'll probably have a lot more competition because it won't cost anything to play. Now, something I'd like to do with all this is take the featured winners, put the images on my website, and potentially interview the people and all that if they're up to it, and go from there. Other stuff I'm thinking of doing on Patreon is like just a regular live stream once a month, and the critique videos, if people want to have their critiques, have critiques done after the contests are over. And then I would also do that on YouTube once channel memberships happen, or probably not then. Now, with that, I'll probably just do a live stream saying, okay, guys, here's all the ones we can go through because we have time. Whereas with Patreon, I'm sure I'll be able to get through all of them if people want to do that. Plus, Patreon's going to start getting the videos before everybody else. I've been doing a lot. So basically, the first big announcement, photo contest beginning in September on Patreon and YouTube. And the second big thing, we got started talking about it this past Thursday. And I thought, this would be really cool. This is a good idea. We were talking about dioramas, and I did follow the guy that you guys told me to follow when it comes to dios. And I thought, you know what? Let's do something just for fun, just because we can. We've got until October 30th to make just some kind of Halloween diorama. I don't care what scale you use, although you might not want to do life size, because then you could just stand whatever it is, like in your living room, and decorate with a few things and call it good. I don't know that that works quite so well. But you could do, I mean, Brick, some things here. Brick, you're totally good with doing minifigures if you want to do like some kind of Halloween dio with that stuff. You can do 1/18th, you guys can do 1/12th, 1/10th, 1/4, whatever. I just thought it would be a fun thing to get everybody together and start building some kind of spooky or silly, just something that we can say it's a Halloween diorama. I thought that would be really sweet. So from there, I'll work out logistics, but if you guys think that's a great idea, hey, just get started on it now. Let's have some fun. And now those are basically the two announcements. So we've got the photo contest, we've got the Halloween diorama. We'll have them done. I said October 30th. October 30th is the Wednesday before Halloween, because Halloween is on a Thursday, which is usually when I'd have the live stream. So we'll just throw them out there on Wednesday. You guys just send me the images of the dios, and we'll all just have a blast going through and checking them out. Just something to get everybody having a little more fun and not just showing up and just chatting, you know? Something to build the people, to make people get creative, to make sure that we're all just doing our thing. So there you go. That's what I got. I am now going to log out of Patreon so you don't have to keep looking at that. See what we've got on comments. Let's see. I kind of find it poetic that RDJ started the MCU, then finishing it. I doubt he's finishing it. Rick, like you, I'll wait till we know more. Sure might be stunt casting, but if you look at the whole of MCU thus far, Tony being a Doom to protect the multiverse by any means necessary fits the character. It does. It does. So hopefully that's how he's written. Yeah. Let's see, a suit of armor around the world. You know, that's what I thought. Somebody brought that kind of thing up, and I started thinking, okay, that could be really cool. I mean, just the idea of that kind of coming at it from a different direction. If a Tony saw or learned about the Kang's multiversal war, I could see a Tony feeling justified to take it upon himself to enact a doomsday scenario. This is true. One thing that worries me, I want to have a real Doom, though. I don't want Tony. I don't want it to be a Tony Stark Doctor Doom and then not have a real Doom for the 616. It would also be cool seeing Tom Holland's Spider-Man fighting a villain that looks like his mentor and father figure. Man, a lot of people brought stuff like that up, stuff that was really dark. Like I heard somebody say, wouldn't it be cool if Tony Stark like shows up as Doctor Doom and kills Pepper? Like, dude, that's dark. That's the kind of hubris that a Tony out there somewhere would have. Beautiful book ending too, in my humble opinion, but we'll see. I mean, I don't disagree. Let's see. Doesn't mean in another universe we won't see a true Victor Von Doom, but remember, we've already accepted that Tony made Ultron instead of Hank Pym, like in the comics. Why not a Tony Doom? But yeah, and I totally am down with that. I get it. It is, they've really got to be careful. We really got to be careful not to make it so that Tony's sacrifice doesn't mean much, you know? Totally remains to be seen. So that's why I'm kind of in a wait and see mode. Is let's just see how the story plays out. Photo contest sounds great. Awesome, Rick. I appreciate it, man. RDJ Doom is total weak sauce, no creativity at all anymore. And that's the thing. That's the thing. We just got to see what the story does. Totally, Jahir. And it also makes sense to have people like Shang-Chi and the new Avengers who don't know Tony to go up against him. Yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. It would be fun. We'll just have to see how the story plays out. If I'm being honest, Marvel has not impressed me until, like, they have not impressed me since Endgame until Deadpool and Wolverine. And I'm talking, everybody seemed to love WandaVision. I thought it was fine, but I didn't think it was that great. And I was really looking forward to Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and that let me down. So I'm kind of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, sorry. So I don't right now trust the writing. Like Deadpool and Wolverine was totally not the normal MCU people, I don't think. So we'll have to see. If they can make the story work, I'm good with it. But I am nervous about that part. All right, now let's get in here. Let me go in and make sure I open the proper windows here. Go away, Darth Jar Jar. Darth Jar Jar is cool, by the way. I'm a fan. All right, now here, if I can get this thing to open correctly the first time, let's see. Sometimes it takes a couple times for the preview to say, all right, we got this. Da 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 da. Now I'm just going to sing. Dope. Didn't quite do it. That's okay. That means it will this time. Open, open, open. What the heck? Huh. All right. It all opened. It just opened in reverse somehow. I'm good with that. And I think everybody else will be good with how this is starting too. Real quick, tragic photo contest sounds awesome. Same with the Halloween dio. Sweet. I think that's going to be fun. Anywho, what else are you excited about toy-wise? I'm about to pop it open. Sounded horrible. I should never talk. All right. These are not what I would necessarily call photogenic figures. This is kind of the other category where I feel like I should talk about this stuff. Now, there's going to be some stuff we've heard a ton about just for like the last week and a half that I just haven't gotten to. I was trying to make a huge SDCC video, and it got to the point where it was taking me away from too much, so I just stopped it. So forgive me if I cover too much that we've already seen. This is the Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine Deadpool. And one thing I gotta give them is the look on this thing. You know me, I'm gonna go nuts because it doesn't have a ball peg waist, and Wade doesn't have an additional head, but he's got everything else. Like, I love that pose. But you'll notice the fun part about figures like this, there's not a whole lot of twisting that goes on at the waist when they take the pictures, because they know as well. But he comes with a bunch of weapons and all that stuff. So I think he does look good. I got to give this one to Legends as far as just what their normal construction is. They did a good job with this one. And now we're getting into Headpool with Logan. I'm pretty sure Headpool is there so that people will buy this Logan. Let's see. There he goes with all that stuff, all his hands, Headpool. I don't know. I was thinking, do I count that as an additional head? I mean, maybe technically. Oh, look at that. They kind of turned the waist. That's unusual. And then we get into the big man. And I don't know about you guys. I'm going to assume everybody here has seen Deadpool and Wolverine. Even if you have, I mean, I guess even if you haven't, this isn't much of a spoiler. You've seen the figures like this for a while now. The part in the movie where Wolverine puts on his mask, I was just sitting there like, yes! I was so excited for that part. But again, Wolverine here looks really good with the way that Marvel Legends constructs their figures. I think they nailed it. I'm not sure about the head sculpt. There's something about, and maybe it's not the sculpt, maybe it's the paint. There's something about the eyes that don't quite nail it for me. I don't know. I think that's it, but I'm not 100% on that. All right. And there's what he's got. He's got the additional head and the additional hands. No other like world building accessories or anything, but I don't think he's bad. So if you're into Legends, I think these are both pretty good figures. Now we're getting into other stuff. Now, you know that I'm not generally somebody that thinks the Black Series is all that great when it comes to pictures, simply because they don't bend very well. Like, they only have single jointed elbows for the most part. And sometimes they cut deep. Like, if you look at this Ahsoka, her cuts look like they're deep enough to give her a better range of motion than 90, but oftentimes the figures don't do that. And it's always hard to tell when it comes to the photos as well. One thing Star Wars Black Series does really well is they give them the ball peg waist, so I'm stoked about that. And I do think they sculpt all their figures really well. I'm not always sure about the finishes, and obviously I have a problem with the articulation and definitely a problem with their lack of accessories, but they always look good. I can see Rosario here, but I'm wondering how many people finished out Ahsoka. It seems there hasn't been a lot of interest in Star Wars lately. And then we've got this Imperial Armored Commando. I don't remember what he's from, to be perfectly honest, but I do think he looks good. But again, he's a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of articulation. He might have enough, but he also doesn't have extra hands and all that. But again, the Black Series team nails the looks every time. And now we're at Super 7, and you guys know that I've been paying a little more attention to Super 7 since they announced their double-jointed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 figures. So here's Zartan. And again, Super 7 generally makes it so these figures look good. A lot of times it seems like their execution falls flat, but I don't know. Like, this shot here looks really good as Zartan. He comes with a lot of stuff. It's just my main problem with Super 7 is crazy lack of articulation. But that Zartan looks good. And like I said, all this stuff is available at the affiliate links in the description. So give this one a shot if you think he's cool. I do think this is cool, although it cracks me up. If you look at this image, it says color changing action. I'm like, is that really action? I mean, it's cool. It's cool they change his color. I just don't know if it's action. Words. There he is with all the parts and his cape on, or his cloak, I guess. And this kind of caught me by surprise. I don't know about you folks, but I'm not the big glow-in-the-dark guy that I think a lot of people are. But this Lord Zedd, so they showed him off. He comes with all kinds of things. I think he looks really cool, actually. I gotta give it to him, but I think the next picture is the one that just kind of blows my mind. Yeah, check out how bright he is, at least in the photos. If he actually matches that, that's going to be impressive. So that's what I've got as far as these guys. And now I'm going to close this one out. And now we're going to get to the big stuff. We're getting to the actual photogenic figures, ladies and gents. These are the ones that caught my eye. These are the ones that I think are going to look good under your lights and in front of your lenses. So let's see if it actually opens. Opens the first time. There's a lot of pictures here, so we're going to have to see if it's going to do it. Hey, it opened the first time. I know you guys can't see that yet, but don't worry. I'm getting to it. Awesome. All right, I'll take it. Now let's get there. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you guys are thinking of these figures. This is the 1000 Toys Toa Heavy Infantry Synthetic Human. And I don't know what it is. I mean, it comes with extra hands. It's got an extra head. It just looks creepy. And part of it might be because I just watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners. This kind of reminded me of something you might see on there. But look at that. That's just hilarious stuff. If you're into the synthetic human figures, then this is one I think you should probably pick up. I just love how creepy that look is. This is something you could buy for your Halloween dio, although it's quite a bit of scratch. I think it was 105 on BBTS. So it kind of, I mean, it can do whatever. This thing, obviously, one of the nice things about posing like these or poses like these is it shows us just how articulated these things really are. It's nuts because a lot of times when we put them in action poses, we're not really showing what all they can do articulation-wise. This picture is absolutely showing what this thing can do articulation-wise. There's a close-up of that awesome, creepy head. Mufasa. Then we get in to what I believe is a reissue Hellboy. But you guys let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I love the synthetic humans. Just wish they scaled closer to domestics. Yeah, they say 1/12, but I assume since they're 1000 toys, they scale more to SHF. Is that probably right? Like, I know Mathex pretty much scales with domestics, but oof, they're gorgeous and move wonderfully. Played with one at a show. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I haven't gotten to mess with one just yet. So yeah, we've got Hellboy here. And like I said, somebody, I believe he's a reissue, but I'm not 100% on that. But if he is, here's your chance to get Hellboy. I love this shot, by the way. That's just, yeah. All these shots, like, their people knew what was up. And the fact that he can pose like this is pretty impressive because I don't know. Let me look back here. He doesn't look like he has a diaphragm cut, but he's got obviously a ridiculous ball peg at the waist. Maybe. Yeah, kind of looks like it. Yeah. Or maybe the joint's actually just below his second row of abs. Weird. Hey, either way, this guy's rad. Like, I was looking at this thinking, okay, all the parts that come with him, all the detail, looks like we've got real chains going on. The big time come and get some kind of pose, or maybe that one's more victory is mine, because that's how Hellboy sounds. All the different horn options. Yeah, I'm a fan of the look on this guy. This guy looks really good. Obviously, plenty of weapons, complete with t-shirt, big sword, gun. We got the horns. It's all good with this Hellboy. Mr. Spencer, I could not bring myself to buy another 1,000 Toys fig after Master Chief, at least not without a heavy discount. I wonder if this guy is a reissue, you might be able to find, I don't know, a review on the original one to see what people were saying about him. Because I haven't tried to do that, and I only read in passing that he was a reissue. I'm not even 100% sure that's accurate. But yeah, I would definitely want to check out, because you seem to have gotten burned a bit on Master Chief. I would definitely want to check out a review before buying another one. Okay, cool. Thanks, Brick. See, true 1/12 SHF. Ah, stinking synthetic humans. Maybe they can be small, creepy dudes. Maybe underboob cuts. Maybe. I don't think so, though. Oh my gosh, push the button, Dave. I've wanted that Hellboy and would love a Lobster Johnson and the other, let's see, but they're pricey. Yeah. Yeah, they're nuts. What is BPRD? Feel like I should know that. And you're going to say it, and I'm going to kick myself. They're very close to Mignola's artwork. Ah, yeah. Yeah, the only thing this one could use. No, he is pretty close. Like, I'm looking at it right now. Was it Mignola? I'm not even sure how to pronounce the name. I think he had a hand in designing Mr. Freeze on the Batman the Animated Series cartoon, which is insanely cool. But when I heard that, you can look at that character and you're like, oh, wow, I can see that. Okay, now we've got some biker mice from Mars. If anybody is into nacelle stuff, these guys are huge. Like, they're really tall, but I would say they're probably 1/10, but they look like, if they're mice, they're even bigger than that. But biker mice from Mars was a little after my time. So were they actually like huge mice? Because they dwarf the turtles even when I'm looking at pictures. But again, we've got some really good stuff here. And the reason they get the pass with the waist cut is because they've got the belts that kind of hide it some, but not all of them. So another reason, and I realize that I've made the exception for myself when it comes to NECA, because some of the NECA stuff I like have waist cuts. And I thought, if everything else I'm looking at gets a 6 out of 7 on my old school scoring system, I'm going to have to say that even if I don't necessarily dig it, it's a photogenic figure. This one gets that 6 out of 7. It's got all kinds of parts, all the things. I think it's really cool. So that's why he ended up in the photogenic figures section. And then here we've got another one. Again, this is me just not knowing my stuff. This is Throttle, it appears. These are black and white sports dudes. We got Vinnie. And then we've got the regular color versions. Again, they look cool, no doubt. It's just something, they just seem huge. And so I'm not really into them. I mean, I wouldn't have been really into them anyway, but that doesn't mean you guys might not be. And then we've got Vinnie again. I do love the extra accessories. Like, Vinnie gets a hot dog and a basketball. Did everybody? Oh, Throttle got a hot dog. Oh, man, they all get hot dogs. Oh, but this guy wins because he's got what looks like almost a rocket-powered football. Like one of those nerf or nothing types. Rick, a movie style, more photorealistic Hellboy and company would fit better on my shelf style-wise. Anyway, I added the anyway. I was reading it like it was going to end in any way, and so that was that. But yeah. See, Team Bureau of Paranormal Defense. Okay. This is me. I don't know that I ever read a Hellboy comic, actually. I just thought the character looked really cool. No interest in biker mice, but am interested in the cell. They did the Expanse figures on Kickstarter, waiting on the one I backed. I'm curious about quite a bit of their stuff. I saw quite a bit coming out of SDCC, like Sectars. I just want to see what happens with them, you know? Thanks, Harry. I'll check it out. I'm selective with Mezco because they tend to be smaller too, but maybe he's a bigger buck. I fudge in their Conan, but he's a Wolverine runt type among legions, AWOC, etc. I have noticed in a lot of reviews, Conan does seem a little smaller than some of these guys, especially considering what we would all assume he'd be, I think. All right, next. Now, we have the Brutal Realm characters, the Brutal Realm figures. Here we have the African Warrior. And these things, they don't really have real kind of, I guess, real product photos yet. They're still sort of in development. So what we're seeing here is what they're looking at so far. I believe the normal ones like this guy are $35 at BBTS, but I did look into them. They do have a ball peg waist. So I was pretty excited about that. And they've got swallowable feet. So swordness. The only thing about this is calling him a warrior makes you think you should army build him, and he doesn't come with more heads. So I'm a little thrown there. Maybe they'll end up having a head pack for some of these guys. Just not sure. But it feels like you should just buy one of these warriors instead of getting a bunch of warriors. Still, I think they look really cool. That buck is crazy. Like, that's almost a cross between He-Man and realistic. It's nuts. And then this guy is Croman, which I'm sure has no relation to anybody else that we might be thinking of or just discussed a few seconds ago. But they're kind of showing some prototype images here. Love that look. And I love that look. There's something about skulls that always crack me up. And I'm not that guy that is, oh, skull and death and stuff like that. I just think a lot of times people throw something like a skull in and it just adds a whole lot of cool to a character. And now here we have the European Warrior, another one where I didn't see any heads. Now, when I read the actual description, it didn't say extra heads. It did say extra hands and weapons and all that stuff. So hopefully maybe they're going to make adjustments. I just don't know, but that hair is nuts on this guy. Obviously, he looks like he's just a repaint of the African Warrior. He just has a different head. And a huge spear, which is nuts. And now we've got Kronen. Again, not at all sounding like anybody we were just talking about a minute ago. But here's a bunch of shots of him. I don't know if we're looking at test shots or prototypes or what's going on here, but I love the way they move. And that's a serious render there. And then we have the Native American Warrior, which obviously this is supposed to be fantasy type stuff because in no image of anything Native American that I have ever seen do they look this huge. Europeans and Africans looking back, way back, some of those guys got huge, but Native Americans, I always saw them as being nomadic and a little slim, athletic. They had the classic athletic build. So this is definitely more a barbarian type thing. Still very cool. And a tomahawk, which somehow makes sense. So we're going to go through, this is Ogun. I love the look of this dude. He looks brutal. And these guys, the ones that are a little fancier than the normal warriors, are $40, I believe, on BBTS. Those links are in the description as well. And so this was kind of I should have blown this up. I wasn't even thought it. But this here, if you guys go to Big Bad Toy Store and you look up Ogun, then you'll see here in this image all the different points of articulation they have. Pretty rad stuff. Harry, Frazetta girls are putting out a Conan. Looks pretty good. I did see that. Are they adding in bicep swivels and stuff yet? Your mic was scratching. Oh no. I wonder if that was just me. Because the mic is from the computer. Thanks for letting me know, John. Hopefully it's done now. Yeah, this is a Kickstarter. Super early. These Brutal Realm figures are fantastic. Move like a dream. Have you gotten to handle one, Brick? These are their unnamed army builders, yes, but only one head. Too bad. Hopefully they do head packs so we can build the army. Harry-O, yes, and that Conan's looking good. Just wish the face was as rugged and scarred as Mezco's, like the OG paintings. Man, I love Frazetta's stuff, and I don't have a single figure that is Frazetta-like. Those are all looking good. I'd love to see size versus other figures. They are listed, I believe it said 6.75 inches, so they should be a little larger than most of our standard stuff. I think Mafex scales or stands generally, I wish I should have my tape measure here, sorry guys, but I think Mafex is generally about 6 1/4 to 6 1/2. So these will be just a little bit bigger than Mafex, probably pretty close, maybe just a touch bigger than Legends. I know Legends are scaling up quite a bit. Tragic. I need to get all of those barbarians. I gotta get, I don't know if I brought this up to you guys. I am curious. I'm not a sword and sorcery guy. I had He-Man figures way back when, and I had a lot of them, but for whatever reason, the nostalgia didn't hit. But I am curious about what Mondo is going to do with their 1/12 line, with their 1/12 Masters of the Universe line. I'm kind of excited about that. I might jump in a little bit on those. Mike did scratch for a moment, but all good. Thank you, Tragic. That sucks. I wonder if I was just pressing a button too hard. Yes, they're on BBTS because they're pitching in their pre-orders towards the active Kickstarter. Brutal Realm needs the support, y'all. All right, folks, so Brick's letting us know what's up. Head over to Kickstarter, get you some Brutal Realm figures. We'll see if, once we're done here, I'll head over to Kickstarter and see if I can find them. That line isn't easy back. They're so brutal and realmy. Had James on my show 3 Sundays back and got a good look at the prototype backstage. Nice. That's awesome. This is what I was talking about with the focus video I did last week. Is it's all cool. The people that say, I just buy what I like. My problem is I like it all. I would go all in on pretty much every Kickstarter. And then I would have no space or money. James Harkness is one of the co-founders of Realm Toys. I didn't know that. Well, I didn't know his last name, but I figured, context, I figured that he was one of the guys that knew what was going on there. Thanks again, Brick. I really appreciate it. And we will check out that Kickstarter before this is all done. And now everybody knows, well, maybe you don't, but the classified road pig, this thing is glorious. And he's got extra hands. And he's got, I have to say, it does strike me funny that they played into the stereotype of the villain by giving him a pit bull. I honestly, I very rarely notice that kind of thing, but for whatever reason, I noticed it here. It cracked me up. And Ruckus looks like such a cute dog that it doesn't even, it just cracked me up. The stereotypical pit bull coming with the stereotypical gang, dreadnought, angry guy. Just funny to me. And I love the changes that were done to Road Pig here. I especially love the pig mask that's going on. And yeah, okay, so we have an extra head. We got the extra hands. We got all kinds of weapons. Ruckus has an extra head. This was, I know everybody was probably pretty stoked about the Rattler. Obviously, a lot of people were stoked about the Rattler. That thing funded in, I think, a day or so. But I thought my favorite thing out of Classified was Road Pig. This thing just cracks me up. And I might need to get them, and I haven't been loading up on Road Pigs or on Classified. They do look good, not a bad price. Too bad their wallet is running a bit dry. Yep. That's what I mean, man. There's so much good stuff that from a business perspective, it sucks for all these guys right now trying to get in the game because all of our wallets are already spread thin with so many good things that it's got to be really difficult to pull it off without the extra spacers. Got it. See, and Road Pig looks like he may have a good hand for holding that shield. Yeah. Road Pig's rad. And I don't know, Mutton Junkyard went for sale. Like, I mean, they went on sale. Obviously, well, I don't know if Nagahide will, but I don't think, I don't know. And I'm not the best judge, but I'm pretty good. Road Pig has this look. I was going to say that if a kid sees it, the kid might want it, but he's pretty pricey for a kid. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd sleep on Road Pig, honestly. Like, I'm not sure I'd play clearance chicken with him, but I don't know. We'll see. I pre-ordered Road Pig and Raptor. I like the Weirdo Joes. You know what? If I didn't have my stupid rules, Raptor looks awesome, which is insane to me because Raptor was one of the lamest characters way back when. And the way Lenny has his wings folding over the way they do, I'm sure that means, what's the Viper they made in POC? The Jungle Viper. I'm sure they'll be able to make the Jungle Viper with that same wing setup. And I think, was the Jungle Viper Pursuit of Cobra, or was that one of the different lines? Road Pig is part of the horrendous Deke series. Easy pass for me. See, I do agree that the Deke series was awful. But Road Pig as a figure, I had him when I was a kid. He was awesome. Like, if I was one of the guys that, yes, I watched the cartoons, but I was always more about the file cards. I didn't even get into the comics, which is insane. All right, so let's get out of Road Pig here and keep moving. Now, you've probably heard that Entertainment Earth has this Player 2 Ken up. I still haven't found Player 1 Ken. Fortunately, there's an Amazon and an Entertainment Earth and a Big Bad Toy Store and all those places for that, so I got to get cracking. I do love me some Jada. So he's obviously a repaint if anybody else has Ken. But that's a different, is that a different? No, I don't know that that's different. I think it's just a different color. And yeah, there's that. I love that they've still got the hands in there. Like the hands inside the big flame ball, the big Hadouken. Yep, big fan. I think Ken looks rad. I love all the Street Fighter stuff. I love what Jada's doing. I think that, I mean, I have no interest in Scooby-Doo. I want to get the Scooby-Doo figures. It's not that I didn't grow up watching Scooby-Doo. I just never thought that they'd make great figures. But if Jada's doing them, I want to pick them up. That's a different effect part. Oh, sweet. That's what I get for not having Ken. I'm slightly annoyed by that. I assume you already have the Player 1 Ken. I want it, but not sure I need a second Ken. Yeah, I still want to pick up, and there's still, at least yesterday when I looked, the Chun-Li and the Violent Ken are still on Jada Toys Next Level. And those would be fun to pick up. Like, legit, I talk a lot about this stuff. I like it all, but I really love Jada's stuff. And I feel like I should just support him like mad. So there's that, I suppose. But obviously, I haven't been doing much of that. I still only have 5 Jada figures. But one of them is on the desk, and it's Chester, and I loves me some Chester. Now, Colossus here made it into the actual photogenic figures. He's got the waist cut. I hate that it's just above the belt. I wish it were a little lower so it would be hidden better. But he looks phenomenal. And it doesn't hurt that I saw Deadpool and Deadpool 2 before going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. This thing looks incredible. Now, I'm not a guy that picks up movie figures, but if any of you are, I mean, you can see a slight turn at the waist there, but they really don't do it much. But if any of you are, this is something that you might want to pick up. Just, he looks so good. And we've got I love the poses they put him in, doing a little bit of reading. And that's the deal. He comes with that. Therefore, he has an extra accessory. He's got the accessory. He's got an extra head. He's got an extra pair of hands. The only thing wrong with him is he's got the waist cut instead of the ball peg waist. So I figured it was only right to put him in as an actual photogenic figure. So if you guys are into Colossus from Deadpool, he's red. And I'm not at all ashamed to say it. I splurged on the Chun-Li. Good man, Mr. Spencer. I mean, you know, Mr. Stabby is angry with me, but he is happy because I didn't even want the Was Once a Man Cobra Commander. By the way, guys, I saw Toy Bro put up on X. If anybody missed the Once a Man Cobra Commander, he's going up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that sucks if you're on the West Coast, but if you're on the East Coast, well, it still kind of sucks because you're probably driving to work if you're not at work already. But just be on the lookout, understand that that's happening, and go get it if you're able to. I pre-ordered Colossus too. He can kick it with some Legions and Masterverse. That's awesome. So, Brick, are you more 1/10 scale collector, would you say? Like, is that the size? Because I don't have, oddly enough, I don't have any Legions or Masterverse. And I know Masterverse, at least, it's 1/10. And Legions always look like they scale a little bigger than 1/12. But I don't know if they're really 1/10 or not. This is me asking the important questions. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into a whole lot of stuff that I know nothing about, but I will tell you this. Something really went under the radar as far as I was concerned, for myself anyway, and that is all things SH Figuarts. Tons of it was released, announced, all that stuff, up for pre-order, and I did not notice it until I was looking up figures to talk about. So this one is from Berserk, and I know that Berserk has not been very successful so far, but this is Isidro. At least it hasn't been very well received just because Guts and Griffith, I believe, weren't done incredibly well. People weren't too happy with them. But I don't know that it was necessarily the look as much as the function. So this one is one that probably looks good. And he looks like he functions well, but you always got to watch out for what they're trying to hide in photos. Now, I don't see much that they're trying to hide here. He gets a pretty serious bend at the knee. There was another, hang on, there was a shot. There, that's, look at how twisted his foot is. I'm not sure we could really do that. This one. Like, look at how well balanced he is right there, considering how much his leg is bent. Like, obviously, I think you're going to get pretty good movement in his legs. And his arms look like they've got good joints for everything. But it might be a little late for Berserk when you don't exactly nail the first two figures. Like, what I think are probably the main figures, when you don't nail those, I'm not sure that the other ones are really things that you're going to want to pick up. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll reissue them with some improvements. But I don't think he looks bad. I think he looks like he moves pretty well and all that. So if you're into it, there you go. And now we've got Momo from Dan to Dan. Again, these are things I don't know. I do know in America, I have a feeling, I say I do know, and then I said I have a feeling, I don't think any of us should ever call a woman Momo. There's just something that doesn't sound right there. I think that would be a problem. So, gentlemen, no calling women Momos. And ladies, if you're listening, don't worry. Nobody on this live stream will be calling you a Momo. Now, this Momo here, I don't know exactly what's going on with the articulation. But again, we've got a character with plenty of things. I've never even heard of Dan to Dan or whatever this is. So if anybody has, let me know in the comments. I suppose I should go check those, by the way. Yeah, my stuff skews closer to 1/10. Legions are the shorter end of what I've got. Cool beans. Thanks, Brick. I gotta find your stuff so I can see pics. But I fudge it all the time if a fig is cool. I know, and that's the hard part, is so many figures are so cool. And like the Masterverse stuff, if they had ball peg waist, I would have bought a bunch of them by now. Because like Whiplash and Clawful and Snout Spout specifically, I think look incredible. And because they're Eternian, I figured I could get away with saying, you know what? These are 1/12 scale. It's just on Eternia. People grow huge. Dan is going to make waves when the anime comes out. Is it sweet? Like, have you seen, is it just a manga right now? And thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. All right. But remember, don't call women Momos. Okay, now this guy, another Dan or Dan, what I don't know what I'm saying anymore. This one looks freaky. It's like an anime vampire almost. I love it whenever I see a head sculpt that is like that. It's one of those things that's just like skull stuff. Like I would buy this. And I'm not necessarily the guy that gets too much stuff that I don't know much about, except maybe Action Force. But this thing, yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be a vampire, but that's obviously what it's given off as far as vibe to me. Speaking of, I need to see more Monster Force, people. We need Monster Force to get released. But it feels unfair to talk about Monster Force while I'm looking at this thing. That almost looks like that's not actually, hang on. Yeah, that looks like it's not actually his face. It's almost like something he pulls over his mouth. But I don't know. I just know it's freaky. It's Dan to Dan, typo on my end. Oh, sweet. I was worried that what I was looking at got it wrong. Dan to Dan, Dan to Dan. And this, I'm sure, is what we've all been waiting for. And that is the SH Figuarts Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine. I love that they use this pose in their marketing. That just cracks me up. Again, I mean, SHF, they kill it on their movie stuff. I mean, the look is usually pretty good, but it tends to be that even though Mafex might release theirs a year or two later, Mafex tends to win the battle. So if you're like me and a self-event, kind of a Mafex guy, let's just say a Mafex guy, and you were interested in these two, you'd probably wait because you know Mafex is going to make these. But if you're an SHF fan, I think you're looking at some things here that are pretty rad. All good poses, all kinds. When we get to the spread of accessories for Deadpool, it's going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. This. I see this from the ad. It's like they took this exactly from the commercial, from the trailers. Ah, Headpool. And I like the way they did that, so that Headpool is kind of just hanging out there. Like the way that it connects to Deadpool. Look at that. SHF crushed it on the accessories. That is so many hands. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excuse me, I'm demonstrating my counting ability on a live stream. 9. You've got 9 pairs of hands with this guy. That is insane. Super Shaddix. I love the colors of Deadpool. He's so red. I know. And that was something that I noticed when I was watching the movie. I guess, really, if I'm honest, maybe I didn't notice it, but it made total sense when I was done watching the movie. I'm like, oh, yeah, duh. But the vibrancy of his costume compared to what it was in the previous two is insane. But yes, I love how red this thing is. I got Van Helsing from Monster Force. Don't know if I can spend $40 for that Dracula. Only for 3 pairs of hands and a sword. Did you, so is Van Helsing out? Or did you pre-order him? My only my only issue with SHF is the size. Just a bit too small. Yeah, there's that too. Like if I were to get these movie figures, and I know I've talked about I would love to just get all the Mafex. So if I were to get the movie figures of them, they do scale better with my collection. Well, that's probably because I have quite a few Mafex, I guess. The must-have felt bad for the first Deadpool. Oh, they must have felt bad for the first Deadpool. They've been loading them up now. That's true. Between this one and the Amazing Yamaguchi, what is it, 2 or 2.5? This guy's loaded. He's like, okay, now I can play. Now I can do the things. On pre-order. I'm looking at other wave ones from them. I want to get a few of those. I need the Donner Party. I've told you guys I grew up in California and Nevada, and like I moved to Michigan when I was 9. So I learned about the Donner Party before I was 9 years old out there, and it was gruesome. But apparently, when you live out in that area, because that's where it happened, you get taught things early. So I saw that. I'm like, oh, I need the Donner Party. Gotta run. Take care, y'all. You too, Brick. Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate it. See, get any new G.I. Joes? I haven't recently. I am stoked about Road Pig. I am going to get Road Pig. I think my most recent G.I. Joe was it Duke? No, I think it was Mutton Junkyard. It was either Mutton Junkyard or Quick Kick. And Quick Kick's already, I'm done. I'm done with him. He's his shoulders drive me crazy. Okay. And now we've got the man, the myth, the Jackman. We have the Marvel SH Figuarts, Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine. And again, when he put that mask on in the movie, I was so like, it was cool to just see him in the costume. But when he put the mask on, I'm just sitting there going, yes. I was so excited. It was the coolest moment I've had in a movie since Captain America grabbed Mjolnir. Like it wasn't quite that insane, but it was well, maybe it was for me. Wolverine's always been a favorite character of mine, so I've always felt they've done him dirty. They finally started writing him really well for Logan and then this one. So I'm like, okay, now they're picking it up. And then they give him the mask. I was so excited about that. And this pose, tell me that's not vintage Wolverine. Ooh. We're going to go back here. There's comments. Then we'll talk about that one. I've been eyeing Beachhead and Jinx at my local GameStop. I do want to pick up Jinx. I've gotten to the point with G.I. Joe, like with Classified, that I don't want stuff that I had when I was a kid just upscaled. But Jinx, they really made some different choices for her. And so I do want to check her out anyway. I want to pick her up. And that's what's got me excited about Road Pig. Now, I will make an exception if there's a retro Flint that gets released, but what I'm really hoping to see is a Flint that is updated for more maybe modern or slightly futuristic, like a futuristic look or a slightly more modern look. That would make me super excited. John, it was a great moment. Yeah. Yeah. You are not wrong. Like, I was grinning like an idiot. I was so happy. And the part in the movie that had me just, you guys know when you know that if you start laughing audibly, it's going to be way too loud. So you hold it in, but your whole body shakes. I was doing that for the entire bye, bye, bye moment with Deadpool because it just didn't fit at all, which is why it was so perfect. Like, I'm sitting there like this, just so I wouldn't just blow out the eardrums of everybody in the theater. I was laughing that hard. Yeah, when that mask went on, man, that was wonderful. Stay away from the anime. only because I know nothing. That one's Kaiju number 8, right? That I was about to show. I picked up Tiger Force, Tripwire, and Roadblock. I only got them to customize the heck out of them. I soldered a red LED to the end of the mine detector. Looks cool so far. I saw you sent me some pictures of the other stuff. I thought it looked rad. Did I see, like, was the red LED in there and I just didn't notice it yet? Because, man, the way that you're setting those things up, they look fantastic. I have Jinx in my pile of loot waiting for me. Awesome, man. Awesome. She looks like she's going to be cool. I hope that they do something with Ball Peg, like with the engineering at the waist when it comes to Jinx. I hope they start doing a little more with that when it comes to the classified figures. I know that we can kind of fix it ourselves. I just don't like doing that. I didn't send the what? You're right. Oh man, I'm all over the place. But they are posted on my page. Maybe that was I'm all over the place. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Clearly. All right, now we've got Kaiju number 8. Soshiro, let's see, Hoshino. Again, we've got more stuff that I know is going to look good if you're a Kaiju number 8 fan. I just don't know anything about the show. That's a cool pose. Like, basically, I'm going through and I'm judging based on the photography. Oh, and then we've got My Hero Academia Midoriya. I think that's this one. And I think people were pretty stoked about SH Figuarts doing these. And it does look like SHF really nails this look. It's kind of like, what is it, Kamen Rider. Like, there's something about Kamen Rider that I have to think they nail that look. Again, this guy, it's another one that looks really good. And I love that they did this. It's something I wish Mezco would do. So if we look at these figures or these photos, obviously it's showing the figure. There might be a touch of color adjustment with these with Photoshop, but every picture Mezco puts up, it's Photoshop, so you can barely see what you're getting. These, it's super clear. And then because it's super clear, pictures like this are just that much cooler. Yep, Kaiju number 8. It's a dope show. Been trying to track down the main Kaiju number 8 figure. Is that the one that has, it's kind of a monster look, right? Because I think SHF did that too, correct? LOL, I did send some pics, but not the LED one. Sorry. Okay, I'm not totally losing my mind. Dang it. It's kind of fun when you think it's just gone. I'm kidding. That's not right. That's a cool pose. I like the subtlety of poses like this. And I like that. That's just your classic hero. Like, he's got a look of don't mess with me, even though he's insanely colorful like that. So I think that's good stuff. Now, this guy, I don't know anything about One Piece. This is Zoro or what? Roronoa? Zoro? I suck at language. I have been thinking that I need to get Babbel or Duolingo so I can learn some Japanese and Spanish. So we'll see. We'll see if I do some of that. But I love this face. I mean, SHF, I got to give it to them. Whenever I see that they're making figures, they are an automatic when it comes to photography. So I always like showing them because if people are into these, they should know that they're out, you know? I do like this, like one sword in his mouth and he's holding two. This is a dude that looks like you don't mess with him. And obviously, he is kind of playing off the name Zoro with two R's. That's just cool. Somebody you just don't mess with. Classified Doc came out great. He looks good. That's the problem with Classified. I think all the figures look amazing. Like, truly, I think they all look great. My only, like, I'm trying to give myself some guidelines. I said rules earlier. Remember, everybody, rules are for the other people. But I'm trying to give myself guidelines where I'll only pick up figures that follow certain criteria just because there's so much good stuff out there. One of those guidelines is if they don't have extra hands, I'm not getting them. So it has really helped me with Classified because, like I said, it all looks so good that Classified itself would basically break me. But yeah, Doc is another one that looked incredible. Like Torch, for instance, is the only Dreadnought I actually had as a kid, besides Road Pig. I'm talking like the original Dreadnoughts, right? And I love the way Torch looks from Classified, but he doesn't have extra hands, so I'm like, nope, nope, I'm out. I'm out. In fact, Flint is my favorite G.I. Joe character of all time. I had him, and I sold him because he didn't have extra hands. This is how hardcore I've had to become. Yeah, they did him, Kaiju number 8. He just looks like a really fun piece. I suppose it makes sense that his name would be Kaiju number 8. He does look fun. They're actually, I think I like the colors on all the Kaiju number 8 figures that I've seen. One Piece on top. The first Zoro was really bad. Looks like they redeemed themselves with this guy. That's good. That's good. I didn't know that the first one was really bad. Evening, on my way home, what a debacle on Hasbro balls. Man, yeah. And if you didn't hear Mr. Matson, I don't know if you were able to get the Once a Man Cobra Commander, but they do. He is going to go up again at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Pulse. So I know that sucks if you're not on Eastern Standard Time, but I think you're in Texas. Is that 1 or 2 hours? I can't remember. Anyway, so the deal here is get up so that you're up at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you need Cobra Commander. That goes doubly for everybody, too. If you missed him, that's when you can get him. See, Mezco product photos are so bad. I was laughing at the Power Rangers for days. That's, man, if they did product photos like these, and then like we were saying earlier, and then once in a while they just threw in one of their crazy ultra Photoshop like photos, it would be awesome because then you'd see what you were getting at every angle. It would just make it cooler, I think. But they've got their own thing, and they clearly do their own thing with or without people's input. My rules this year is that I'm done pre-ordering. I've only been buying figures in stores or at conventions. That's a good plan. I can't do that. I just haven't been to conventions. There aren't many toy shows around me. The closest toy store is like an hour away. So, I mean, like overall, just it's a toy store. Like I've got a Meijer near me. I've got a Target very near me. I've got a GameStop near me. But oftentimes they just don't have stuff. That's what the Midwest does to people, folks. They don't have the things. See, here we go. One of those picks. But because we saw all these, that just makes that kind of pick rad. All right, now we've got more One Piece with Shanks and what appears to be a young Monkey D. Luffy. And Monkey is a figure that I've been curious about simply because his name is indeed Monkey. Now, I like this. I like that he's bent over, touching Monkey's head. Clearly, it's some kind of, I don't know if it's an older brother or like a mentor relationship or what the deal is. But I like the subtlety of the bend going on with the knees, that he can balance like that. Unless, of course, they're just cheating and he's balancing, touching Monkey's head. But this is pretty cool, too. Now, obviously, here he is sitting on something. But the look that they gave these, it's a good look. And his leg looks like, actually, what's really cool, look at how far forward his ankles look like they bend. Like, check out his ankle, or check out his back foot there. That's really good. And he's stoked. And now he's less stoked. Here's Monkey. Monkey doesn't seem... he does have some articulation. I at least see the bicep. Obviously, he's got something at the shoulder. So he's more than just a slug, but they come with a ton of stuff too. Big fan. I like what they're doing. Yeah, I've got California Advantage with, let's see, being all, yep, with everything being by the docks. Only downside is trying to actually live here. Yeah, I've heard that California is nuts when it comes to cost right now. I mean, the rest of the country's bad, but it sounds like California takes the cake. I found 2 snake eyes, Pursuit of Cobra 58 at a random Walmart in what? In Kansas? Seriously? Dude, that's awesome. That's clearly okay, everybody. If you're living anywhere near Kansas, or if you're just bored one weekend and you want to take a weekend trip, obviously you go to Kansas. You go to the home of Superman. Because Superman knows toys. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. And this one, I think, qualifies as a photogenic figure. And I'll tell you why. I give droids the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their articulation because they're robots, they're droids. And the other characters that come with this are so small, you can't expect much out of them. So we've got Grogu, who basically has bend at the shoulders, and I think he can turn his neck a bit, maybe a little something with his feet. And then whatever the creatures, the little Babu Fricks guys are. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mando Season 3, and I didn't necessarily like this take, but it did crack me up at first. And it is kind of it's one of those adorable sets. Like, I could get this for my niece, and she'd probably just look at the robot kind of funny, but hold on to the others. And we can see how Grogu gets in there. And we can see Grogu. Oh, yep. Hand articulation as well. And the little Babu Frick looking guys. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was everything as far as all the photogenic figures. Now, remember, I've got links to all this in the description below. We also said that we were going to check out the Brutal Realm Kickstarter. So let me, I got to stop getting my face that close when I'm looking at all this stuff. You guys get quite the look there. Brutal Realm Kickstarter. Okay, once this opens up, I'll share the page. All right, that was quick. Oops. Open, open, open. Hey, there we go. All right. Now we are at $44,099. Brutal Realm. Let's see. What's the goal? The goal is $140,000. 24 days to go. So if you're into these, yeah, man, at $140,000 with the goal and 24 days to go. How long do Kickstarter campaigns usually last, folks? Is it like 40 or 45 days, something like that? I mean, they look really cool, but again, it's got to be super hard to be a small company trying to make things work when so much good stuff is out there. Here we go. Let me see if this picture will blow up some. Nope. No love on that. Well, maybe. Hold on. All right. So here's a good look at the articulation scheme on this thing. Head to neck barbell, lower neck ball joint, butterfly with ball joint, shoulder disc, bicep swivel, barbell torso to abdomen. Perfect. Double jointed elbow, abdomen to pelvis, ball joints. That's what I'm always a big fan of. Wrist disc, barbell hips, upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, shin calf swivel, swivel hinge ankle rocker. The only thing I'm wondering is wrist disc. Do they have articulation in the hands? I'm not sure about that. Anyway, let's see. I could probably look back. We'll see if we can discover it as we're going through these shots here. First wave, Ogun, the God of Iron, 36 bucks on here. That's a sweet shot. This is the one that was on BBTS. That one I don't think was. So they're trying to build a story behind these guys too, which I think is something a lot of companies are missing. Story is what makes us all give a crap about the new characters, you know? So we're looking at just, let's see, Croman, the Beguiled Barbarian, another 36. So we've seen these shots. Oh, Army Builders, the Warriors 3. Here we have the Native American warrior, the European warrior. I'm mostly European descent. I'd probably look like that if I let my hair grow. What do you think? Maybe let my muscles grow a little bit more. We've got African descent in the middle there. Ah, come on now. So these are all the pictures that I already showed. Oh, looks like D Amazing got a hold of these things. You can always tell a D Amazing photo shoot. Maybe not. That tree might be, it looks like him. Sorry, I'm still just looking and seeing what we've got here. Man, they do look like they move smoothly though. Check out that pose on the bottom left there. That's a pretty cool pose. All the kinds of stuff that they come with. Let's see. First tier unlocked at 150. Okay, $150,000 gets you Chief Motto. Ooh, he looks vicious. Man, do not mess with Chief Motto, ladies and gentlemen. Second tier, the Great Khan. That looks cool too. I mean, they all look really cool. Ooh, the Owl King. Ooh. All the weapons. I'm assuming we have an owl here for the Owl King. Uruk, the Sumerian. Has kind of a Hercules thing going on. Except the mighty beard. Is that a mighty beard? That looks like a mighty beard. Trying to see what else we've got here. Deluxe General Grimskull at 210. Ooh. There's Brutal Realms Darth Vader. Oh, that's cool. And wow. I mean, it looks like they're building a really cool mythology here. I mean, at least as far as these characters are concerned. Athena, the warrior goddess. She will give Wonder Woman a run for her money, obviously. Maybe not, because Wonder Woman. So there you go, folks. That is the Kickstarter for the Brutal Realm. Right now, what do we have here as far as, so we've got $44,099 pledged, 339 backers, 24 days to go. What do we have here? Then the prices, the African warriors, $30. So I assume the Native American warrior and the European warrior are probably the same. Yep. And then the bigger dudes, the guys that come with all the things, are 36. So there you go. If you're into them, if you're into it, go back it. Because the last day spike isn't going to jump as high as, it's not going to jump $96,000. Snag anything on Pulse today? You know what? I didn't. I wasn't even looking, to be honest. Like, I forgot that all the stuff was going up because I just wasn't interested. How about you? Were you able to pull anything off? 30 to 45 days. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Pushing the buttons. Hands look like a disc hinge on a peg. Okay, cool. But yeah, there's the Brutal Realm, folks. So again, if you're into it, go grab it. And that's what I got. So remember, the two big announcements for Toypixx are I'm going to have photo contests on YouTube and Patreon beginning in September. Now, Patreon obviously costs money. It's the $5 tier to join in, but you're going to have a much better shot of winning on Patreon, and the winnings are going to be a figure that I deem photogenic. And don't worry, it's not going to be like a $12 something. We're going to start at $25. I did play with the idea of Mega Man, though, because I think Mega Man's pretty photogenic. But I thought, you know what? Let's at least start at 25 and see what else we get. So there will be winnings. Go for that. And the second, in case you weren't here at the beginning, is we're going to start doing dios. So start making some, let's make a Halloween dio. Anybody watching, just get cracking on a Halloween dio. No rules whatsoever. Well, I guess I should say there is one rule. It's got to be a little Halloween-like. And they've got to be done. I've got to get emails for them by October 30th. And don't worry, as I work out all the details for the photo contest and for the diorama stuff, which diorama, that won't be a contest. We're just going to have a blast and just kind of get involved, see what we come up with. But yeah, I'll get all the details handled and start putting them out on the socials. I'm sure I'll talk about them more here. So that's what I got. Tell your people, have fun, because that's what we always do. And take some shots, man. It's been a while since I've been able to take pics. You need to be taking pics. We should all be taking pics. Anyway, thanks as always for stopping by. It is hugely appreciated. So until next time, have fun and happy snapping. See ya. Now I hit end stream and then I wave.